treasure, they just might. Tune in to find out Monday nights. K-Pro Cow Powwow. K-Pro Cow Powwow wow. It's the K-Pro Cow Powwow.
Okay, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It is not Monday. It is not the K-Pro Cow Powwow, but it is Thursday. And actually, we skipped Monday, didn't we? I'm trying to think. Yeah, so that's why there's so many things to talk about. And here we are. Today is Thanksgiving. It's a day to be thankful. And me and K-Pro are thankful for Forrest Fenn and the Thrill of the Chase and what he gave us over the last 2 years, 10 years. It is what you made of it. I believe there is some personal responsibility there, but not to get into that discussion. But yeah, thank you to Forrest Fenn for the Thrill of the Chase. What do you say, K-Pro?
Yes, first, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Yes, you guys saw the turkey. It turned out pretty good. It turned out good enough. The turkey took a little bit longer because it was 23 pounds. But so nothing came off perfect. I like it. My dad always used to say a good cook is when everything comes off the oven at the exact same time. Didn't have that today. Had to keep some stuff warm and do some stuff like that. But I enjoyed it because especially the whole family was together, and that this has been the first time in years, and first time as our family in it. So it's this has been a good year. So, and thankful to all of you. Even though Forrest Fenn hunt is over, Forrest has passed, a lot of us are still together. No matter what's happening. I've made some friends that I think I'll be in my life well after whatever the next hunt or the next adventure is. So thanks for being here, but we are going to talk Forrest Fenn.
Okay. So I am just sharing the link everywhere. So basically, if you want to take it away, K-Pro, I'm going to try and get this shared everywhere so people know we're talking on a Thanksgiving night.
Well, so here's what happened. This is my perspective. I don't know if you can relate to it or not, but I'm going to babble for a minute. And Mike can chime in whenever he needs to or wants to. So I was really into the Forrest Fenn hunt. I have tried to get into other treasure hunts kind of during. My first treasure hunt was the Forrest Fenn hunt. Did Vegas Die, Jingle Bell Rock, a few others. I see those as more contests than long-term treasure hunts. Let's call them slow burners. The slow burners, this was the only one I'd been a part of. Forrest Fenn hunt, he named it over. Mike and I, like every channel did, pivoted one way or another. I think that's when Amy just started her channel. Indy had her channel. Mike and I had our channels, and we were all kind of the same. Like, let's talk about the whole amusement park. Then Forrest passed. That was a kaboom in my life personally, because I did consider him a friend. And some things were happening, but we would only kind of have breaking news, and we would only come and talk about concrete information that's all we would give. We had the GPS solution theory heard around the world. A lot of people said that's our solution. It's not, but it's the solution that we put. If we were to bet on a horse, that's the horse we're betting on right now. There's some developments there. There's been enough that has happened. I believe that the lawsuits, at least in one case, I think, well, we're going to see what happens with the lawsuits rather than just wait and all be kind of under the misery of waiting for these lawsuits to stop and be dismissed. I think it's just time to start discussing things, at least from our perspective. I know some other channels do. I give huge shout out to Susie Fenhaven. She's been doing the Friday, Friday Fenhaven, something like that. That's been fun. I know there's some other channels out there still discussing. I just have a little bit of a void, and maybe this is my piece. And I've talked to Mike on, do we do a different show outside Monday, Thursday? And he's like, he got his closure. This is more into the puzzles and the cleverness for him. He's like, I've got my piece, but no, we're in this together. You talk about different ideas and I'll chime in, but I think it's going to be more my passion than Mike's, especially because it's become much more of the social non-treasure hunt. It's more of all the outskirts of the issues that are happening, lawsuits, people, that kind of thing, which I think I dive into more. I'll also give an update on where we think the media is going to go, documentaries, series, that sort of thing. Between all of that, I just said I got to go where my heart is. And I've been posting a lot more on Thor lately. And I've been posting some of my stories about me and Forrest. And they've been kind of well received. So because of that, hi, Mr. Clue. And
that's right. We have breaking news, everybody, from Mr. Clue. And thank you, Mr. Clue. Thank you for the treasure hunts that you have done on YouTube. So for those of you who don't know, Mr. Clue has a YouTube channel and it's called, wait for it, Mr. Clue. And what he does is absolutely free treasure hunts. He does these awesome puzzles in video form, videos on YouTube. He hides a proxy item. First one to find it using those clues gets whatever the treasure is. He had promised his next treasure hunt to be done by this Thanksgiving, which is today. But Mr. Clue, well, actually, I guess because you emailed it to me, it's okay. Mr. Clue got COVID. Mr. Clue was down for 2 weeks. It happens. It's going around. We're glad you feel better. We hope you feel better. And we hope being safe and family is number one. So Mr. Clue had to postpone his new hunt. But he did email me last night. And he said, in your next video, let the community know the new treasure hunt he hopes to have out by January. But now he's backed up with work because he was sick, etc. We all know it. We all go through it. Time is the most important thing that we have. He hopes to have the new treasure hunt out by January. It will be based on the board game Ticket to Ride. And I don't know, Mr. Clue, if you want to say what the treasure is. We don't know what the prize is. He did not say that. But Mr. Clue's new hunt will be out hopefully by February. Again, if he has to delay it again, he'll give us a heads up. Ticket to Ride. So thank you, Mr. Clue, for the treasure hunts. And happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Yeah, and I know there was some sort of controversy last night. They're talking about in the chat room. We talked a little bit about it earlier. Mike and I are just doing our thing. If you need help with marketing or if you need help with whatever you need help with, we wish you luck, but we're just kind of doing our thing. So there's going to be, each week, there'll be a show that Mike's going to kind of lead. That'll probably be the Thursdays with Cow, which is what we had before, which is going to be kind of the entire amusement park and maybe which specific hunts he's focusing on. And then we're going to probably do Mondays on Forrest Fenn. I like the idea of, I think every week there's something going around in the forums, in the community. And I want to talk about it. And I don't want to talk necessarily about individual people, because I know in one case, we have one of the people doing the lawsuits that are really big into tubing and only wants the message to go out from her. This is a lawsuit that is affecting the entire community. So I think we should talk in general. I don't think we should talk specifics about a person, but I do think it is fair game to talk particularly about how is this lawsuit developing. For example, did you know last night, she was on one of the channels and said a Forrest or a finder's attorney contacted me out of Santa Fe and tried to say it was in Wyoming and I'm not giving much credence to it, etc. So let's stop there for a second. We have the attorney on one of the two lawsuits against Forrest Fenn saying the finder has an attorney that has contacted her. I think that's pretty interesting news. I don't know if it's groundbreaking or breaking news. That's something I didn't know before. And we've heard it from the attorney representing. I don't think she's allowed to lie about those things. So what do you think, Mike?
I wish you weren't a liar.
That's my first thought. So you're saying that, did you say any names on who said this or did you not?
The attorney's name is Barbara Anderson in the Chicago lawsuit. She was on a YouTube channel,
right,
and stated, and I only watched the little bit. People were sending me this saying, "Did you see it?"
Yeah,
I hadn't. It's amazing, and now everybody's talking about it. But it happened last night.
And again, this is just our opinion, meaning, yeah, we can have our opinion on a lawsuit or about the people involved in the lawsuit, but this is just how we understand it. We may have it wrong for some reason, but that is pretty huge. If in fact the attorney for the finder of Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt actually responded to a lawsuit. That is indeed. That is breaking news. I should have put breaking news with 5 exclamation points on this video. It is interesting. And that lawyer, you're saying, K-Pro, confirmed that it was found in Wyoming?
Well, that's what
I got another question.
we can't bring it up because there's a copyright thing. But from what I understand, I watched just a couple of minutes, and she said that attorney stated it was found in Wyoming. And she said something like, I dismissed it right then because unless there's a second treasure chest in New Mexico, it's in New Mexico because my solve is that amazing. So I dismissed that attorney. Well, something like that.
Well, let me ask this question. Was any of this information in a formal document that was filed at the court? Because that's all that matters to me. I don't care what anybody goes on YouTube and says, because as we know, anybody can go on YouTube and say whatever they want, right? So that's not
well,
that's
let me ask,
news, in my opinion.
Let me ask you this then. So if Zoe Fenn, old Fenn, or Carl Sumner came on YouTube and stated this happened today in the court case, you wouldn't find that informational. Now, some you might find more valuable than others, but you don't find it interesting that one of the members of one of the parties says something. Yeah, she goes on YouTube a lot, says a lot of stuff, kind of goes a little off, but this was actually about the case. You don't find that interesting?
I find it interesting, but if anybody says, if any lawyer communicated with the judge, wouldn't that have to be in a document? And we usually get these documents after they've been posted publicly. I'm just saying,
right? Not the judge though. The judge wasn't involved in any way. So from what I understand, let me say this.
Okay, maybe I didn't understand then what it is.
Yeah. So in a court case, before you go to trial, first 2 parties will try to settle. And I think she was communicating a lot with Forrest, and Forrest had stopped. The court case happened. The lawsuit was filed. Barbara and Carl had communicated. They did not come to an agreement. It is gone to court. You always try to settle before. Trial is always the last place that you want to be, from what I understand. So you try to settle if you can. So lawyers will often talk between themselves to see if they can settle, mediate, arbitrate, whatever the right word is, out of court. So I think Forrest's attorney and Barbara, representing herself, have come to an impasse. They're not communicating. It was interesting to me that there's now this third party, because she has said she's not suing Forrest. She's just trying to make him, his family, his attorney, anyone related, to tell him who she's actually suing, which is either the stalker or the finder, or maybe Forrest now because she's saying he pulled it, but someone else. So that someone else, she has said, has now been represented, and that representative lawyer has reached out to her. I thought that was interesting news. Do I know enough? She didn't say a name from what I understand. She said it was an environmental attorney. Somebody emailed me. I haven't gone back to look at that part to see what would an environmental attorney have to do with this. I don't understand the different lawyers well enough, or the different lawyers' specialties. If you're an environmental lawyer, can you be... I don't understand it. I just found it interesting. One of the named parties, and I think this can all go to the judge later, but there's a lot of video that I think can go to the judge. But this one in particular is interesting because it sounds like she indicated the finder hired an attorney, or has an attorney that reached out to her. So doesn't that mean that there's a finder?
Yes, but my question would be, what we always say is, how do you know that's the attorney for the finder and not a crazy person? Because how many emails do we have saying I'm the finder? What if we got an email if it says I'm the attorney for the finder? How do you know? How do you know?
Well, from what I
How
understand,
can you prove it, in other words?
From what I understand, if an attorney is represented and they've passed the bar, they're on the bar, they can't represent a hoax. If they represent a hoax, they can be disbarred. I don't know how you prove it. I don't know what you're asking.
So that would be my question then. It's got to go through the court to be official. If somebody just emailed Barbara and said, hey, I'm the attorney for so-and-so, it was found in Wyoming, why are you doing, that doesn't mean anything. It's got to go through the court to be official. That's just
I agree with you, but this is still interesting.
It's interesting. No, it is interesting. I agree with you. Very interesting.
No, and I agree with you. It can't just be somebody that kind of says it on YouTube in the middle of a crazy show of everybody cursing and being crazy. I get what you're saying. So it needs to be a little bit more credible than just a crazy story, but it was actually spoken out of the person that's a part. It's not her friend. It's not a friend of a friend. The party from the attorney, not the searcher, even though she is the searcher, the actual attorney stated this. I don't know if that commits her in some way. I don't know the laws of the bar and all that. I just find it fascinating. It wasn't scuttlebutt. It wasn't I heard from someone who heard from someone.
Let me break in. Street Scenes says the finder's attorney is a EPA, estate planning attorney. So you said environmental. Did you mean EPA, estate planning attorney, maybe?
No, somebody forwarded to me that it was not, it wasn't environmental. Maybe they got the E wrong. I don't know which one. That's
EPA,
even more interesting.
Sounds like Environmental Protection Agency. So I wonder if that's what they assume. But anyway, my point is the breaking news comes in if this attorney for the finder actually files something official with the court. Then I think then maybe we were on to something, that's all. But it is.
Well, and I can tell you just from a custody standpoint with me and my ex, when an attorney actually has to register as being the on record, this is who you serve if you want to be serving a lawsuit, that there is an attorney the attorney should be registering on record. I believe family court is similar to all the other courts. If you have a representative attorney, I did talk to two of my lawyer friends today and I said, can you check the courts to see, has there been anything registered as someone representing the finder? And they said no. So it's, to your point, this might just be rumor by an attorney rather than but you're not supposed to do that. But they also said, and there was a person that said this on, and not from her directly, she kept going to Carl's office again and again and again and again, and he's hiding from her. From what I understand, you're not supposed to stalk or go after repeatedly to people's offices. You're supposed to do it in court. So I found that interesting too. Like, what is she? Well, anyway, that gets into a weird, but someone said, wait a minute. Oh, that picture that Czar showed us at dinner the other night about the impression, he said we could show it. We don't have to show it right this second, but I do want to show that if we get into that. Yeah, because that.
Text it to me, Czar. Text it to me right now so I can show it.
Okay, I was on the crazy panel defending Your Honor. Thank you. There doesn't need to be any defending. Everybody's entitled to their opinions, and we're kind of doing our own thing. And
okay. I'll just say this when you get a minute.
Okay, go. No, you got.
No, I was just going to say our YouTube channel is our opinions. You guys should know that, but I guess I should officially state it. There was another YouTube show that was on last night that I watched a little bit of, K-Pro watched a little bit of, and then people email K-Pro. Nobody emails me because they think I know, they know I would ignore it. But people email K-Pro and say, they said this, they said that. So we are allowed to talk about that. It's all opinion. It's all based on secondhand information, which is important, I think, important to know. But yeah, we can talk about that. We also want to talk about IWII, which we did this morning. Eric of IWII makes videos on the Forrest Fenn hunt, and he had one about the GPS solve that I thought was quite humorous because he kept saying that's just Mike Cowling's story, and we'll talk about that after this. But yeah, we just actually it would be cool to do. You know how you remember how what's his name used to do the weekly roundup of all the YouTube videos? Remember that? I can't remember what he called it though. Who was that? And
weekly review. It was Sean Dotson.
Yeah.
It was like Jimmy Kimmel's, or Jimmy Fallon's, one of the Jimmys. It was like their weekend review. But I do have to say that was back when we had like 30 or 40 Forrest Fenn YouTube channels. And I do have to say, he said the reason he discontinued it is it was so hard to keep up with 30 channels. I don't think there's that many channels. But I think last night they went on for 4 or 5 hours. We have too, so I'm not knocking that. But then there's a new guy that Indy's really into. I forgot his name. And he does a show a couple times a week. We would have to watch all of those to do a summary of all of those. And there's a lot of them still out there. I know I can't commit the time. So all I'll say, and I said this earlier when we were making turkey and talked to everybody, is we're we're not sliding anybody by saying that we're not going to invest. We've been asked to either invest or be a part of people's treasure hunts. That's not something we're interested in right now. Not because we hate you or we want to slight you or anything else. It's just Mike and I are doing our own thing. Right now, the only treasure hunt we're doing is finding each other at the altar in like 62 days. So please don't take it that it's anything more than a knock. That particular channel, I've not had them reach out to me. I have been banned from their Facebook page. I don't know much else. So I understand they wanted to ban me. They didn't want my voice there, and that's okay. I'm not, Jason sent me, do you want to come on and talk this through? I've been banned, so I don't know why I would, I'm a little confused. I don't know what the messaging is. I don't know what the topic would be. We kind of have our thing. They kind of have their thing. And there's a lot of other channels. We've been asked if we can do some joint shows with some people. Michael Raymond's one of them. He is somebody that I see is so genuine and nice. He would be somebody that I'd be interested in doing some joint things with. There's a lot of people that have been around for years and years. And I think we've done some really fun stuff with. GTC has done some panels. Indies does some panels. Right now, we're just focusing. I'd like to really focus on our kiddos. We're thinking about doing I'm thinking about doing some more stuff with DPro. I understand, and I said this earlier, everybody kind of has their lane that they're in. The little bit that I brought up last night, that's not something I would show my kids. So it's just not something that I want to be really into. But again, they banned me. So I don't understand what the discussion would be because I'm banned. My voice isn't allowed there. So why would I don't want to like ambush anybody. I don't like come on their show without being invited. I've not been invited. So I'm just kind of in a weird spot. So Mike and I want to do our thing. If you need help with marketing, there's lots of companies that can help you. But all I would say, and we all help each other in saying YouTube's a really cool spot because the more channels out there that are all saying and on the same content, they kind of help each other because they get recommended and then it becomes viral and we all have this great community. I would say just find your niche and have a good time. And it seems like I came on, there were some tense moments. I only watched for a few minutes. Barbara and Indy were on at the same time. I don't think they're best friends at all. But I think they're talking about some things. I would just try to keep it discussing the hunt. That's it. But that's all. I think it got really serious really quickly. I know some things have been said. It just, again, is really serious. And if you've been banned on Thor, it's because you've either threatened somebody or cursed or gone legal or something.
Okay, pro question.
Yeah.
Do you unban people on Thor?
I do. And I have recently unbanned quite a few people on Thor. Here is the exceptions I make. If you've been in front of my house, if you have stepped into my life personally, if you have filed a lawsuit or any legal action against me, I don't see that we can come to an agreement enough that you would go to the basics of the Thor rules. I've banned a lot of people, and I should say unbanning to me is not changing your account back on. I'm not going to go back and forth. Just start a new account, come on as KPro, KPro 3, KPro 9, KPro, real KPro, whatever it is, you can come back on. I don't check IP addresses until there's an issue. But you are able to come back on. There's a handful of people that I don't allow back on. Once you file a lawsuit against me or legal action, and I actually have to get people involved, we're not on the same page. That doesn't make you bad. That just makes it not fit right. There's a lot of people that I have allowed back on, and you don't need to grovel. You don't need to any of that because they're like, do you have to grovel to me? No, just register back on. It's not even a big deal. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say hintofriches.com, which is a forum for treasure hunts. It's open to the public, right? Everybody has a right to be on there, don't they?
Everybody can see it. But if you actually want to post on it, you need to have a registered account. So if you have a registered account, you can post. If you post, I'm going to cut your head off and kill you like one guy did to me. I ban you. And then when you say you want to come back
Just a
on
joke.
and then post a picture of my house, you're probably not going to come back on anytime soon. That person messaged me and said, can I come back on? I haven't responded to that person. That got a little creepy that they knew where my house was and the things that they said and the things that they posted. I'm not willing to do that. Now, if you one day said, you're a horrible treasure hunter and you're a beep and beep, 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 and I hate you, and then a month later you calm down and you shoot me an email and say, can I come back on? Yeah, no harm, no foul. I have the couple people that are noted that are past the point that I am willing to expose myself again to that kind of abuse or my users. So go ahead, Mike.
I look at it this way. Hintofriches.com is a website that everybody can go read, just like you said. But in order to post, it's just like the casino. Casino's open to everybody, but guess what? They have a right to refuse service to anybody they want. They can escort anybody they want to, really for any reason, off their property. Thor is the same way. You don't have a right to be able to post on there. K-Pro will decide who gets to post and who doesn't. And some people don't like you for that, K-Pro, but that's okay. You don't have to like them, but guess what? You're not going to be able to post. If you get banned, it is up to K-Pro to unban you or not, and it's her decision. And it's not like there's a board you can appeal to. It's her decision.
Well, and two things. Godelkin just posted, but all I said is I knew where the treasure chest went and you banned me. No, you're wrong. What you posted was I found the treasure chest. You've gone through some things. I get it. I'm not going to get and bring those here. But at a time that Forrest had said he was going to allow me to announce when the treasure had been found, there was a rule that you needed to provide proof. You provided no proof. I gave you time. And this is what I said to the many people that have said that. You're not the only one. There was 10 or 15 people that said, I found the treasure chest. They needed whatever attention or they needed that for whatever reason. I give you until next sign on. I can tell when you sign on. And I say next sign on or you're banned. When you don't provide any proof, but you need that recognition, you don't get to stay on that particular site because that a lot of users said, this is where we come, kind of like what you guys say about our exclamation points of confirmed. On Thor, that was a big deal because people knew that is where Forrest was going to announce when the treasure chest had been found. So if you decided you wanted to come back, come on back. But no, I'm not a liar, Godelkin. You've done this many times, and I'm sorry you're not happy with me. You can go elsewhere, and I welcome you to go elsewhere. That's the thing for me. There's different places for different people, and that's okay because I have all of the proof and screenshots. It's all ridiculous. If you want to come back, great. If you don't want to come back, great. If you say liar and go crazy like you have a few times, that's okay. I hope you mend, you come back, you come into our chat rooms again and again and again. You come into our Zooms again and again and again. Whatever you need, and it helps you get through. This is Thanksgiving. Let's just be okay with each other. But that's what I talk about with it doesn't, it's not a big enough deal that it's that catastrophic. So let's just try to all, I don't know, get along. I don't know. That's all. Yeah. So no, Godelkin,
Okay.
You're not happy with me, but you come on my website, you come in my Zooms, you come on my forums, you come into our chat rooms, and you call me a liar. You're welcome for allowing you to be here. But if you cross a line, you're not going to be here. You think you're going to come in and abuse me. I'm sick of being abused. And if you think that that's what this is about, is you getting your pound of flesh because you're not happy with your life, that's not what it's about. So you don't get to stay unless I say so.
Okay, and there it is. Enough said, I think. There it is. Basically, K-Pro decides. If you guys don't like it, go post somewhere else. It's kind of like our YouTube channel. And again, this is veering off of, I think, the Forrest Fenn discussion, but it's like our YouTube channel. We talk about the treasure hunting amusement park and all these are rides, but we decide what treasure hunts to talk about. That's just how it is. Sorry, we don't have to include every treasure hunt. We don't, because we don't have to if we don't want to. If we don't want to talk about something, we don't. But anyway, let's get back to what Czar just sent. So, let me just show the picture. You guys be the judge of what you think. Shout out to Orion and Christy. Happy Thanksgiving, you two. Hope everything is good. And here we go. So if only K-Pro, if only we figured out how to look up the metadata, we would know where this location is. Oh, wait, we do know where the location is because we went live and told everybody. This is the location that you, Cynthia and Justin, found using the numbers in the poem as GPS coordinates, decimal degrees. Ryan went about a week or 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, he went up there to check it out for himself. And he found this in the, I don't know if this is the exact same spot. You can talk to it, K-Bro. I don't know if you saw this or not, but this sure looks like a depression, like something was right here. Yeah. What do you think, K-Bro?
I know exactly where that spot is, but I don't know how I missed it. They were there like a week after us. So that's the thing that I don't know, but it sure does look awesome. That's right. So see on the upper left corner, that is the nook. No, go back down. Zoom back out, please. Yeah, I believe that upper, yeah, that right there, I believe is the nook, but that can't be the nook. I don't know.
But it is interesting, regardless, that there's this big square space right here. But you guys make of it what you do.
You're muted, Mike.
But you guys, it is interesting. Now you got to mute, Gabriel.
Okay.
Thank you. It is interesting, though. I mean, regardless of what you think, it is interesting that there was this depression or nook, somebody could call it. And then when you look at that picture of the treasure chest, the stuff that was to the side, doesn't this look like that stuff? Those sticks that were there, the grass that was there. I mean, it looks like the area, but that's just my opinion. But thanks, Azar, for sending this to us. Again, it just adds more fuel to the fire.
Yeah. So, okay, I want to say two things. I'm sorry for getting worked up because it's so silly. Just like that some random troll calls me a liar. I get mad. I apologize to everybody because we don't want to be in the negative. We just want to kind of do our own thing. Second, I don't know how I missed that and where that exact spot was. I think he said that was in the impression behind the nook. And Mike, you haven't been there. So, I mean, you were kind of there with me virtually, but not the same. So, but that, oh, it's not the nook. It's directly behind the blaze, opposite of blaze. Yeah, that's what I mean. The nook on the other side between the blazes. How did we miss that? I would have taken 1,000 pictures of that. So that's amazing. And there's no way Czar made that up. We knew they were there like 5 days later, 7, 10, whatever it was. That is amazing. Yeah. So I don't know. Oh God, now he's coming back as different people. Let's see. Okay. What an ass hat. Sorry.
Nice. Did we want to talk about the title to the gold?
Yeah, I want you to bring it up because I've thrown out a few things and you thought this one was interesting. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, it is interesting. So I'm going to go to Dale's blog. Remember Dale's blog? Remember when everybody would go there every day and look for an update? Well, things change. This is the picture of the chest from Dale's blog. That's not the picture. This is the picture right here. This is posted on Dale's blog, as you can see, when it was found, blah, blah, blah. This is, from the finder. So look at this picture. Actually, I should probably save it, huh? Let me save it so I can zoom in on it. Look at that picture of the chest. And K-Pro said, what do you notice about that? And I said, well, I see the gold coins. I see these gold discs or whatever those are supposed to be. I see a hoop. Let me save it so we can zoom in on it. And she said, what don't you see? And I was like, I don't get it. What? You explain it, K-Pro. I'll show the picture. You explain it.
Okay. So I believe if you look at that picture, it is underwhelming. I don't think anybody went, wow, when Forrest said we were going to open that. I don't think it was exactly what we had envisioned. I do think he put a lot more things in bags and that made sense. But look at that picture. That's all the gold, right? Like Mike always says, give me the gold. That's a lot of gold. There's a stick, but there's a lot of gold there. Do you see much else other than gold? Keep that in your mind. Now let's go back to November.
What is, I don't know what this is. Maybe, is that the dragon bracelet maybe? But again, that looks like it's gold coins, the gold, whatever discs these are. That could be the frog. Maybe that could be the eye of the frog. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I see gold. I see a lot of gold.
Okay. So now you say Why is there only gold? A lot of people said, where's the diamonds? Where's the rubies? Where's the sapphires? Where's all the things that he said was in there? Okay, now we're going to fast forward back, or rewind back to November of 2019. One of the questions that I asked Forrest was, will the finder own it when they find it? And he said, what do you mean find it? And I said, find the treasure chest, they find it. Is it theirs and theirs alone? Something like that. We can bring up the clip, but it won't matter. And his answer was, I said in my poem, I give them title to the gold. He didn't say, yes, they own everything in there. He didn't say all the things in there and diamonds and rubies and sapphires. He said, I give them title to the gold. He was very specific that it was the gold. So there is a jump of logic here, but still something he didn't say. Could it be potentially that Forrest put something in here that said, this is only half the treasure. Return this to me and you will get the rest, which is that you have the gold because you have title to the gold per our agreement. Anything else you want, which is diamonds, which is sapphires, which is rings, which is all the other things he named earlier. What if you have to go and see Forrest for him to give you the rest of the treasure?
Yeah, that is interesting. And let's look at what some of those other things were that were supposed to be, we all assumed were in the treasure chest. Because on Dale's blog, remember, Forrest says, hey, I found an old hard drive. Okay, isn't this things that were supposed to be in the treasure chest, or am I wrong?
Yes, but he left it at the end. He could have changed something.
Yeah, that's true. But you got this one, gold nuggets, gold nose rings. Okay, that's probably in there. Golden frogs. Yeah, we don't know where this is. This part is. Now I could be wrong. I just thought he said all these things were in the chest. But if we go to, and then the gold dust. Okay, that was in the vial. I think we saw that. If we go to the pictures, so there it is. But now where's the bracelet in this picture? No bracelet, no turquoise bracelet, right?
Now there are some things underneath, and those discs are a lot bigger. Look at the size of those discs. They look about the size of the treasure chest. Then go over to the Medium article, or the one that has it at the location. That disc is much smaller. That's another con.
So and this big necklace thing with this red in it. I mean, where is that? You could say, well, that's on the bottom, but this is only what, 5 inches deep. I mean, it's not like this is a huge thing. 10 inches by 10 inches by 5. I think it just seems interesting that it's gold. And where's the bracelet? Where's that necklace? Bracelet, necklace. This looks like a big, if that's an olive jar, that looks like a big one right there. And then this thing, which looks like coins in a case or something. It just seems interesting that you can't see that from this picture. So Caper had an interesting theory, which was title to the gold means you get the gold. If you want anything else, you got to come see me. That would be the same idea as an IOU. And I know a lot of people have had that thought where Forrest was like, there's one thing in the treasure chest I never told anybody, but the finder will really like it. And that could have been an IOU. Come see me and I'll give you blank. So interesting theory. But what if Forrest had already passed before someone found the treasure? What then? That's true. How would they get it? Could it be his estate? Could it be a lawyer? Yeah, we don't know. But we don't know. I mean, I can speculate all day, but I don't know.
Mike, check your text. I want to share something, but I want to make sure you're okay with it. Yeah, and that's the thing. What happens if he passed? Would there be an executor? Would there be someone else? Okay. Yeah, I think there's potential complications, but why wouldn't have Forrest just said yes during the interview? He said, I give them title. I think there's something else. I think, and he already alluded to something else in the treasure chest. I don't think it's just the stick. I think there's something else there. Anyway. Mike, look at David Crumps. I don't know what that means exactly. illuminate something. I don't know how to
Yes.
do that. That's magic in my mind.
Well, when he says, okay, so David Crump in the chat says, June DER from Thor here. Happy Thanksgiving. Could you guys talk about the laminated looking piece of paper in the left of the photo? Where's the bracelet in that photo? He said that was the last item he put in. That's a good point. Forrest said the last item he put in was the bracelet. So why would the finder take the bracelet out and then take the picture? I don't understand. I'm assuming this is what it looked like when he opened the lid. But yeah, where's the bracelet? Now, if you mean this thing, this laminated thing here, somebody was saying that is a Ziploc bag that goes underneath. They believe that's just like these 1 bag, 2 bag, 3 bag. This is, and it's a guess, but we think this is a Ziploc bag that is underneath this stuff. And again, maybe the turquoise bracelet was in that bag, but Forrest did say that was the last thing he slipped in the chest. He said that was a part of himself. So good point. Good point. I wish Forrest was here we could ask some of these questions too. But unfortunately he's not. K-Pro, you see Susie T's, did you decide?
Yeah, I responded.
Oh, okay. Good.
I can just tell you everything's up in the air. I'm trying to get to it. And that's part of the reason I know a lot of people are asking us to help them with their channels and things. We just literally don't have time because I just got my dress. My daughter's dress isn't in. There's lots of things happening. But I just haven't had a chance yet. I'm so grateful and thank you guys for, there's a few people I owe some emails to as quickly as I can. Okay. So yeah, and I think that bottle, the message in a bottle, as JK said, I think that's his autobiography, right?
Yeah, just
where is that in the, do you see that in the?
True, you do not see it. Where is that at in here? I mean,
well, and that's why I think it was GeoNut said he
could be right here.
A lot of items were taken out because that was when Forrest did that one picture that with the open chest, it was filled to the brim. That picture is not filled to the brim. So were a bunch of items taken out? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. The poem name title To the Gold gives the name of the poem, K-Pro Cowlazars. Title To the Gold, he gives us the name of the poem. He's never named the poem. What do you mean, Holy?
Yeah, I don't think he even named the poem, did he? What?
No. She's saying third court. I shared the pictures with Indy of the wedding dress and the maid of honor dress, and she says they're gorgeous. Mike has.
I will just say this: if you want to mute K-Pro,
yes,
I will throw this out there. Although some people are going to say, "Oh, it's so horrible." Me and K-Pro are getting married at the end of January, and a lot of people have said, "Where's your registry? How do we do whatever?" In the description down below, we're not registered anywhere. If you guys want to help out, if you just want to send something, there's an address down there. You can address it. Please let us know who you are and that you're, it's a wedding gift, that type thing. So we can thank you here on the vlog. And also there's a link to a PayPal account. So if anybody just wants to help, you can donate. I just want to put that out there. And thumbs up the video for Forrest Fenn talk, huh? It's been a while. I've been trying to talk K-Pro into doing it, and she hasn't wanted to for so long.
And there's lots of little facets of all of this. I think we need to get into, not tonight, but what happened the week that the treasure hunt was, when Forrest announced that the treasure was found, what happened the week that he passed. I think there's some things that have happened that we need to talk about. I'm registered and I don't want to talk about it. And shoot me an email. We're not the brand new newlywed couple, so we're not gonna go into here's a placemat or this or that. We just want you all there, and I know it's going to be probably the most heart-wrenching thing. We have more. So if you don't know, the governor of Nevada has changed the occupancy rates and kind of shut down the city. We're hoping just for a few weeks. If that continues through January, which it won't, it's going to be rough, and we're going to figure out something because we are over the limit that the state is allowing right now. It'll totally change. Everything will be fine. And that's what I'm saying. But I will tell you, I am marrying that man January 29th because John Bobbitt is an ordained minister in Nevada. We need 2 other witnesses.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? That should be on TV. Yeah. So yes, we are getting married. The World Series of Fenn weekend. So also down below for anybody that's coming out or interested in coming out, and you're thinking about it and you're on the fence, there is a link. We talked to Bally's and we got a discounted room rate for only Bally's. You can get 10% off any Caesars properties. But we're going to do the poker tournament at Bally's. It's going to be a big party at Bally's Friday night, Saturday night, probably Thursday night. But the poker tournament is Saturday night, January 30th. And the link that you have to click on it, and it's already gives you the discount. So you plug in the days you want to stay. I think the most cheapest room maybe is about $340 if you stay all 3 nights. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. Of course, you don't have to stay all those nights, but yeah, that'll be a little bit more discounted than if you just go to their website. So just putting it out there. Information is good to have.
Okay, I have something to say about what Christy just said. There's so many things to catch up on. Christy Fiorello, I'm getting better at saying it. Maybe did she say the finder is a woman? No, I believe the person that picked up the treasure chest is a man. I believe it was a team of 3 people, and out of those 3 people, one of them was a woman. I believe that woman helped write the finder article. My opinion, breaking news or not, variety of reasons I think that. I think it explains why the article was written in the context and the syntax and all of that is there. Can you explain why it's a big deal for all of us slow folks? Which piece that I don't know if it's a big deal that I think there's 3 people. I think that's what's complicated selling the treasure chest. I think that's why we've had some complications of the finder and or group getting back out to Forrest. I don't think they did. I think they missed a huge opportunity, or at least the finder did. I think Forrest was disappointed at the ending. I think he was disappointed in the type of situation. I think he was looking for that redneck that was going to adore him, be out at a moment's notice, have a lot of contact with him. I didn't think he thought it was going to be a group of people that needed it for the money and wanted to sell it off, maybe sell the story, and that's it. That doesn't mean it's, I don't think he hated anybody. I don't think he has that in him. It was somebody clever enough to find it, but I don't think it was the ending he envisioned or really wanted. It wasn't his fairy tale ending. What do you think, Michael?
I think he was surprised by who found it and how that they wanted to stay anonymous. He said from the beginning, it's up to the finder. Forrest held true to his word. It's up to the finder, the solution, and if they want to remain anonymous. But he also said the person who finds that treasure chest isn't going to be able to keep it a secret. Well, he was wrong. Somebody who found it does want to keep it a secret. As far as we know up to this point, we hope in next year sometime the actual solution will come out. And if it is not based on numbers in the poem, I'll be the first one to do a video that says I was wrong with 5 exclamation points, everybody, if that is the case. So yeah, it is what it is. Not a good ending to the Thrill the Chase, making us all wait, not knowing a solution. I don't care about the finder. If the finder wants to remain anonymous, I don't care if it's a group of 50 people, remain anonymous, get a lawyer, create an LLC, call it the Finder LLC, do whatever legally you have to do to remain anonymous, but put out the solution. Let people know where it was. Let people know what the 9 clues were. And it's up to you if you want to tell your story on how you found it or not. It's for closure. So let's go into Eric and IWII Productions, because that talks about closure. Let me show it real quick.
Don't play it though.
I'm not going to.
Yeah. And I will say, here is somebody, I don't know Eric, we've corresponded via email a few times. I really like his thoughtfulness, his thoroughness. He's opinionated, but not in a vulgar, nasty, threatening way. I mean, he has a cat that sniffs out BS. He is I just find him funny. There's a few things that he made some conclusions on that I think were incorrect. We just kind of want to do a counterpoint just to clarify, because I think that he is very analytical and thoughtful in maybe considering that. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
So I just put the link to Eric's YouTube channel. He does a lot of videos on the Forrest Fenn Treasure. He actually read all the court documents for the Barbara Anderson lawsuit. He's got a series of videos where he's reading it word for word. I just like Eric because there's humor in his videos, but he does this straight face kind of thing and looks in the camera, you know, over his glasses type thing. So, but the reason I bring it up is so everybody go check out and subscribe to his channel if you want some Forrest Fenn content. But he also said he's going to start talking about UFOs and conspiracy theories. That's right up my alley. So anyway, he brought up one, which was the GPS solve. He's got 4 videos and it's all about the GPS solve. And basically I posted it in the Grand Adventure and I said, but that's Mike Cowling's story, because that's what he keeps saying. He's like, there's no independent confirmation. You just have to believe me when I say that there was a person who reached out to us with the GPS numbers, and all that's true. It's whatever you want to believe. That's true, that you have no independent verification. You're taking my word for it that this person reached out. But what Eric said that he got wrong was, if this source reached out and he's saying the source is upset. It's sour grapes. There was a group. The source was not part of the group that found it. So he's upset. He wants to get the numbers out there. He sent it to us to go public with it. And that is not the case. He got it from the article that Ben Wallace did, but Ben Wallace got it wrong. When I talked to Ben Wallace on the phone, what I said was, the logical conclusion is this source is upset that they didn't find it, that it's a case of sour grapes, but that's not the case. What the source says is he wants closure for the community. He wants people to know where the final location is so they can have closure. They can know whether they were right, whether they were wrong, whether they were close, far away. Now, of course, a lot of people hate that the numbers were in the poem, and we can get into a double encoded that Isa Lake is where warm waters halt, or the Madison Junction is where warm waters halt. That could fit too. But anyway, the article is wrong. The source is actually happy for those who found it, whoever that is. They just wanted closure for the community and wanted to get the solve out there. So Eric, I like your videos. And what Eric's point was, if this person was upset at the finder, why wouldn't they tell us the identity of the finder? If they wanted to get back at the finder, tell us the identity. We would have to, me and K-Pro would decide if we were to go public with that knowledge or not, because just because somebody says something doesn't mean it's so, right? But the reason he does not give us the identity of the finder, not because he doesn't know who it is, but because he wants to remain anonymous. And if the finder wants to remain anonymous, that's fine. It was for closure for the community, not because they were upset. Go ahead, K-Pro.
Well, a couple things, and stop me if I overstep. We asked specifically, or Mike, whatever, asked specifically, like, don't you get anything because you were in this group that was working on this? And he said, no, that was our deal. Kind of like the Chapter 4 group that's all working on the Chapter 4 of the U.S. Great Treasure Hunt. We've all said we're all going to put our best ideas forward. And if Mike happens to get it, that doesn't mean he has to share with 3D, even if 3D came up with a great idea. So he said we knew the rules going in. We were going to work collaboratively as a group. And I'm happy for that person, but I think the community is owed something. And he does know the finder. He does know the situation. He does know, I think we've been given enough that we've got closure, but I do have to say there's some things that have developed that maybe even puts in my mind, it's never been 100%, but even takes me down a little bit. I will say, and Mike, you can put the second mark on this. I think there's enough question that the source could put a little bit more allow us to put out a little bit more concrete information for the community. And I think I would appreciate that a lot, because if his original intent was to get the information out to the community for closure, we have not been allowed to share enough that the community has closure. And I think that is apparent with the number of people that have been negative, even supporters of ours, people that have said, gosh, I believe you, but this just doesn't. There is enough that has been given to you that I think would resolve that. And I think if he allowed that, that would be, if he genuinely is wanting closure for the community, he needs to take that next step. He's already taken 19 steps. Why not take the last step? In my opinion, and I'm not forcing it, I'm just saying it. And I know that puts him in a hard position because of the situation that he's in, but that's what I think. Okay, but one thing I want to make really clear, I do not want to start focusing on the Forrest Fenn shows again and talk just about the GPS theory. That is one theory of many. There's a lot of theories that have not had their due share of discussion. Did Forrest pull it? There's one. Medium article, lawsuits. There's so many things we can discuss. What's happening now? What about the estate? When are things going to settle? Are we going to get anything? End of the year, tax implications. When is it going to come up at auction? There's so many other things. I know you guys all want to talk about the GPS solution, mostly shooting it down. Until we have more information, we can't give any more. We're not willing to give any more without permission.
It's interesting that you just said tax implications. What if the finder is waiting to sell it in whatever way they're going to sell it until next year, just because of taxes? They don't want to get the money in this tax year. And that's a consideration. Somebody finds the treasure chest in June and is like, oh man, I've got all this income from the beginning of the year. I can't do that this year. I'm going to sell it next year just because it's a new tax year. And they could form the corporation. They could form the LLC. They could do everything legally they need to do. So hopefully in January, maybe we'll hear something. I mean, to me, that makes sense.
Okay. Even though we know a little bit, let me just say, let's say you found it June 6th. You don't know Forrest is going to pass, but you know Forrest is sick and his days are numbered and he's 90 years old. Forrest is begging you to come out. You still have work. You have your boys. You have this. You have that. Do you not make time at all? Like, if we want to really get into the finder, how do you not make time to come out once?
The only thing I can say is maybe because of COVID. Maybe how Forrest Fenn's family was, so that could have been a consideration. Do you think they would have got? In other words, do you think it was not on Forrest's part? Forrest would have made it happen if the finder was like, "I want to be there next weekend." He would have made it happen. Well, maybe it was COVID on the finder's part. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of is a pandemic maybe would keep you from traveling or something. But other than that, you got to go. You got to get there, in my opinion.
And my thought, this is my crazy conspiracy theory, is let's say me, Indy, 3D Bronze is the group. And I went out boots on the ground and found it. And Forrest only wanted to meet with me because I'm the one that recovered it. Mike, there's not a couple involved in my situation. I'm not leaving you out. It's a hypothetical. Oh. So I get back home. I have the treasure chest and I say to Indy and 3D, nicest people ever. I say, hey guys, I really want to go out and see Forrest. They know we're trying to stop the story and they say, no, we want all three. And Forrest is like, I can't have everybody. I already have family that's really critical. I don't want to, make an issue with Peggy, et cetera, et cetera. What do I do? It could have been, that might have been the complication, is Forrest didn't want to meet with everybody because it was a team of, but I don't know.
All right, hang on. Chasing Indy's got a comment. Yeah, the answer to that, I don't know, Kpro. It could have been something like that. She says, the one thing that bugs me about all this is the doctor connection. Why would Fenn say, find the doctor, you find the treasure? I never heard that before. What is that comment from?
He didn't say this to me. He said something different, but not exactly the same. So he said to me, there was a lot of famous people looking for the treasure. I'm going to summarize here. And I said, anybody recent? Because I knew about Ashton Kutcher. I knew about Suzanne Summers. I knew about some of those. And he said, Donald Trump's physician. I knew that. Okay. And that's who she's talking about. And I talked to Cynthia because that's who I talked to, and a few others, and they had all heard something similar. And some had said that Forrest had made that quote, that exact quote that Chasing Indy said, find the doctor, you find the treasure. He went out once, only once. He can't, did Forrest know him that well? Forrest probably would have connected if he had that kind of clout. Some people thought he was a 200-foot searcher. Many people, I will say, he had a personal physician and then he had a White House physician. Some people thought it was one physician. Some people thought it was another. This is the whole cheating thing. I didn't even bring up that I went down this rabbit hole. Cynthia went down this rabbit hole. Indy went down this rabbit hole. We all went down this rabbit hole. There was no there at the end of the day for me. Some still think we need to go down that rabbit hole to see if there's something more there. Not for me.
I never heard the find the doctor, find the treasure thing. But Alex brought up a very good question. the finder of the AGK treasure, did he ever put out what Forrest put in an envelope and was in that treasure? Has that been released yet?
No, but Amy said on her show this week that she talked to Christian, I think is his name, and he said he has not opened the envelope yet. When he does, he is going to share it with Amy to put out to the community. That is,
How did he not open it yet? That was like a month ago, right?
yes.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. Well, maybe he doesn't have it yet for some reason. But didn't he drive and get it from AGK? I don't know. I never did watch that show.
Yeah, I want to say that's 3-4 weeks ago, at least 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yes, he's had it for quite some time. I don't know why he doesn't want to open it. I don't know what she just happened to say it there. That was a jam-packed show. It was awesome. Good job, Amy. That was one of the things she said on the show.
Well, I have a suggestion, Christian, if you're watching or if somebody knows him and can get this idea to him. I think, Christian, the finder of AGK's treasure, you should post an article on Medium. And on the Medium article, you actually say what Forrest Fenn said in the envelope. And you can even say this is to the finder. I don't know. Yeah, put an article on Medium. Let's all of us post an article on Medium. Why not? Okay, but again, we titled this "Let's Give Thanks to Forrest," and yeah, let's give thanks to Forrest Fenn for the thrill of the chase. The last 10 years, everybody dealt with it in different ways. The thrill of the chase has affected everybody in different ways. But I say personally, thank you to Forrest Fenn for doing what he did. Whether the way it ended, where we don't know and all that, that's fine. But it brought me and K-Pro together. So for me, the thrill of the chase was a success. It ended awesome. I know for some people it didn't, and that's just how the world works. But for me, I say thank you to Forrest Fenn and the thrill of the chase.
Well, and so of course I'm going to say the same thing. I know, or I believe Forrest, I felt closer to Forrest than maybe he felt to me, or he had more of an impact on me because he touched so many people's hearts. And so I started sharing some of my stories. I put the second one up. The first one was his cabin. If you wondered if he ever owned a cabin in the Yellowstone area, I did know that he did own a cabin. Several of you know that as well. Not the larger population knew that. I found it out. I approached Forrest about it. Forrest asked me to keep it under my hat until after he passed. I tell the story up on Thor. You can go and see it. The second one was about a searcher who was in crisis. And Forrest, he was committed to an institution. He really, really was focused on the treasure. The searcher's wife reached out to Forrest via phone and said, please just tell my husband his area is wrong if it's wrong so we can get peace. I happened to be visiting Forrest during that time and we talked it through. He snuck a Corona Mini Light and we both had one because it was kind of a unique story. I don't say it as anything more than it was a moment we had, and he said he'd never listen to me again because it didn't turn out well. But it was my story. So I'm kind of, somebody's asked me if I'll write a book. I will not. I'm just going to give, Russ does this as well. He's a collector and has purchased a lot of Forrest items. He is doing a set of sharing his stories up on Thor as well. I've decided to put mine up. So those two stories are up there. I'm deciding which stories I'm going to share next. They're nothing that's going to find you the treasure chest. They're just going to be some interesting stories about this hunt that you might not know.
Joshua is in the chat. So you just, you said, so I just want to make sure I heard you right. You said that Forrest Fenn did own a cabin. When you say Yellowstone, you don't mean inside Yellowstone National Park. You just mean in that area. Is that right?
Correct.
Can you say if it's the Montana or the Wyoming side of which state it was in? You know?
I have to tell you, this was years ago. I would have been searching at that time in Montana. I believe it was Montana, but don't hold me to it. Somebody said today, I found it. Can you give me the first letter of it wasn't under Forrest's name, all of that. I would need to find, you know what? There's a box in this house, Mike, that you could sell for $1 million. There's like my notes at the time. I went down and somebody said, oh, someone told you this. You're not smart enough. No, everybody knows I'm not smart, but no, I actually had found it. I went down this rabbit hole and actually Indy connected with me right after that time because she was like, I used to be in real estate or in real estate. We could try to go down the deeds rabbit hole. I went down the deeds rabbit hole I found something that was an anomaly. I asked Forrest and he's like, aren't you clever? And I thought, oh, I found something. It was kind of just a weird anomaly. And he never, it was just interesting. And so those are the kinds of things. And a couple people confirmed since I posted it, like, yeah, I knew it and I kept it quiet too, which was it's kind of like rumblings and ramblings. That didn't come out until after Forrest passed. I think there's a lot out there. So I told somebody I will try to find my notes to find it. I don't have my notes. I do not recall the name or any of I just remember it was a rabbit hole and I couldn't believe I actually figured something out that Forrest was surprised that I actually figured out. He was like, how did you do that? But now that I know a few others, they could share. I don't know. I mean, it's just, there you have it.
Okay, so Forrest Fenn did own a cabin up in the Yellowstone area, but that could mean Hegben Lake. I mean, that could mean area is pretty big area, right? Anywhere up there. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
it wasn't right at the park. It wasn't in any search spot. I just thought it would be like, did he privately own someplace and you have to get on his land? That was my thought for a while. Yeah. And David Crum, it's really funny because the Corona story was lovely. It also showed that even with his age and wisdom, Forrest would listen to someone's opinion and have a laugh about it. There was there was a moment in the middle of that situation, not the cabin one, but the other one. I gave Forrest advice and he took it and it kind of bit him. And then we had the Corona light and then he just stared at the pond for a long, long time. And I know he was thinking things, and I'm not one that likes awkward silence. There was an awkward silence. He's just, I don't know. Again, there's no hint. There's nothing that will give you, like someone says, oh, he looks, whatever. There's not a hint in there. Just know it's just a story about two human beings. That's all. And it's kind of cool. That's all. And so, yeah, some people are like, I can't believe he snuck the Corona light. It's a Corona mini light. It was like this big. It was hilarious. So anyway.
so let me ask you this. Now that Forrest has passed away, would you ever entertain the thought of restarting the Foia? Now that he's passed away, would that Foia go through? Because the person that, you know what I mean, the privacy and all that stuff. Although the finder showed the chest, I'm not sure what benefit it would be. But do you think now the Foia would go through now that Forrest is dead? Is I guess the question.
Yes. That is something else. Forrest just said, wait until my passing. When I talked to, let's see, at the end of the day, which one did I filed with the BLM? The FBI agent was actually like, I said, how long do I have? And he's to make the decision, because Forrest asked me to hold off. And he said, you have 30 days. And I said, well, what happens if I wait until after he passes? And he said, it becomes much easier then. Forrest actually wrote me something that would make it easier, to even easier. And he did ask me to wait. I actually hadn't thought about that in a while.
For some reason, it just popped in my head. I don't know why, but I just thought, oh yeah, that's, things are different now that he's passed away. So I don't know.
Well, the interesting part is, I don't remember if it was Chris or Justin that did a Foia. I think it was Justin that did the Foia on all the missing items. He constructed the Foia in such a way that he got everything and then culled it down. The people that have gotten the Foia so far, they were not wise in how they understood the Foia process. So they got several pages, but much of it was redacted. If you know how the Foia process works, you would have requested it in a different way. Forrest and I laughed a little bit because he's like, the Foia's out there. I'm like, yeah, they didn't do it right, did they? And he's like, no, but they don't know that. And we kind of talked about that a little bit. He did just ask me until after he passed. There might be a there. I'll have to think about that. I don't know. There's so many different ways to go.
Denise Baker says, wow, that thing about F having a cabin in Wyoming could have been important info for us all to know. Well, one, nobody said the cabin was in Wyoming, did they?
No, I actually think it was in Montana. I don't think it was in Wyoming, but I don't remember exactly. But yeah.
So we're confirming Forrest Fenn owned a cabin up in that area, but we don't know what state, Montana or Wyoming.
I'm
And-
not confirming it. I'm confirming that he said when I went down a rabbit hole, just like a lot of people were upset about rumblings and ramblings. They said this should have been out beforehand because they deviated from a lot of the scrapbooks. I only had it maybe 6 months, a year ago. And yeah, wow, there could have been a lot of things. I mean,
well,
I get it, but
that was my point for Denise Baker. Why do you think it would be important info? Like, I don't understand, why would that be important info? As many times as his family spent up there summers, of course they probably own some stuff up there. But yeah, I didn't understand why it would be important info. But again, somebody may think it's important. The other thing is, somebody emailed me recently and said 30% of Yellowstone National Park is privately owned. Is that true? I thought a national park is all owned by the government. I don't know.
private. That would surprise me, but maybe the Yellowstone area, but not Yellowstone Park. There is a couple of grave sites. There's a couple of ranger plotted, but that's like the rangers don't own it. I would be surprised at that, but I don't know. I don't know enough. That's maybe something others could say, because not me.
Well, Denise says, okay, it could have been a red herring, but what if it was in Wyoming and the finder knew that? Right, but so what? You still got to figure out the poem. You know what I mean? The poem is what leads you to the treasure, not where Forrest had a cabin, etc. But yeah.
Well, I think this is the exact controversy of the Forrest Fenn hunt. Was there outside information that could help you figure out the location? Kind of like when the finder said, I figured out where Forrest wanted to lay his bones. Did he not actually solve the poem? I think he was just making a point, or a comparison, personally. But can you cheat, force fit it, figure out something different? Well, the 200-footer, some people were like, you're a cheater for trying to find out the 200-footer. You have to do it with the poem like the rest of us. Just like some people say, you guys are cheating by doing a Zoom. Everything's on the table. There's no cheating in treasure hunting. There's no crying in baseball. There's no, but that some people have, like rumblings and ramblings, that had been out for years. I didn't have it until recently. Other people were like, that's what's helped me so much get hints. I don't know. I don't know what's fair. I don't know what's not.
Well, and speaking of that, I guess can you mute, Capra?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I guess there's some people that have an issue that we do an open Zoom about treasure hunts. They're like, and more than one person has mentioned this, where it's like, oh, that's not fair. Why? What's the problem with a group collaboration? Like, how is that breaking rules or anything? What's the difference of a meetup? What if I said, hey, everybody in Vegas, let's all meet at the library on Saturday and we're going to go over the Beacon Star and try and figure stuff out? It's just, everybody lives across the country, so we're doing that same thing in a Zoom. I don't understand why people have issues with it. I don't get it. I don't understand. It's open. It's an open Zoom. Anybody can join. Just email me and you get the invite. But even if it was a closed Zoom, even if there were 20 of us that made a group and said, we're going to figure this out and we're not going to share with anybody, that's our right. People are doing that all over the U.S. If you don't think people are already doing that, I mean.
Well, one of the people that had such an issue with us doing Zooms was somebody that was in a closed group on Facebook working with you, which I find the irony amazing. Now, here's the other thing. Yeah. Some people said, like, we don't have to share everything. I'm sharing because it is therapeutic to me. I do have to say it's more about me. If I get enough hate, I'm not going to share my stories. So I've already told the people on Thor to be kind of aware of that. These are stories about, if you want more insight on Forrest, here's some information. And I'm doing it more for me. I understand that it might upset some more people. That's why I say to all originators moving forward, don't do interviews. Be like Randy. I'm going to make a shirt that says, be like Randy, Beacon Star. Just shut it down. Don't talk about your hunt. Don't do it, because I just don't think it's a good practice to talk about your hunt. Mary Green, Forrest, say you were the second to know about the cabin. Mary, yeah, I mean, it could be. But I shared that story more as just, this was the things that people were picking apart in his life. Just like, hey, was I the first person to figure out Mika was his granddaughter and someone tried to kidnap her? I mean, people can take whatever rabbit hole they want. I mean, we can take it to a morbid extreme if we want. None of it seemed to matter. It was all about the poem. If you look at the GPS solve as just one of many, it was about the poem. I don't think anybody needed to dig into the things that they did. I just happened to be one of those that did go down every rabbit hole. And I found out some things, and I didn't use it in a negative way. There was quite a few things. I called it, did anybody else get something that Forrest said, can you wait until after I pass? Dale did have some things that about the war that Forrest specifically asked him to wait until after he passed. Rumblings and ramblings. Forrest specifically asked him to wait until after Forrest had passed. I don't know. So, but here's the thing, Jerry Stone. Thank you for saying that. Your place, your rules. Yes. But also, I hope it seems right. I wasn't not sharing it because I thought it was a hint. I wasn't sharing it because I didn't even think it mattered. These are private things. Like this treasure hunter that was in crisis. I never shared it because it didn't matter. But today, I hope it shows you a little bit that Forrest was, it kind of gives you behind the scenes of him. He had feelings. He was a human being. And I think, and you know what, I will tell you, not all of them are going to be good. Forrest and I had some words. Somebody was there when Forrest and I had probably our worst argument. And she's like, I would have peed my pants or cried if I was on the Brett end of that. I'm going to probably share that eventually. It wasn't all just positive. There's a human being behind this. And I think if that's shared, it might help everybody understand. But if not, it just helps me kind of say, here was a person that helped me grow as a person. But again, if I get a couple stories in and I get enough negative and it doesn't help anybody, then I just won't share anymore. And I'll wait until I'm sitting with Mike, chit-chatting on a date night and say, oh, did I tell you about this story? I didn't tell Mike about the cabin story. He was like, what? You shared it on Thor and you didn't tell me? I hadn't, because I just hadn't brought, it wasn't that big of a deal. And I know Mike's not as much into all these little rabbit hole things that I was into before. So anyway, there's my...
more interested in the poem. But Mountain Dew just says, if you want to create an even playing field, like linking David Steele's comments, then why would not share info on the Fenn cabin? In my opinion, the Fenn cabin has got nothing to do with the poem. So what if they owned a cabin up in Yellowstone? What if he owned 3 cabins in New Mexico? It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to do with the poem, in my opinion.
Well, so here's the thing for me. This is maybe very unfair, but this is it. I found out about the cabin years ago. I found out through Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt how muddy the waters can get between everybody sharing emails, everybody secretly recording Forrest, people doing things that were obscene, not good. I learned a lot through that. Some things were shared, some things weren't shared. All of that, now everything's behind us. I can tell you moving forward, I step away from hunts that start to get into that realm for precisely the reason of what I've already gone through. I was secretly recorded. I had all this stuff. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't want to be secret, but I didn't want not to. When I had the 1 mile thing, I put it up on the forum. Right when I put it up on the forum that I was a part of, oh my gosh, it turned into controversy. I was like, Forrest, but you told me a mile. And he's like, but people like, just be careful. I didn't understand the community. I understand the community now. That's why when I saw David Steele and Steve Grogan give some hints that you would only know if you were on those YouTubes, I put them out as quickly as I could. None of it matters at this point because it's just not worth it. So for me, an even playing field I'm trying to make, because I was in such a dilemma this last time around. But people were trying to attack, kill, kidnap, break into. They did some crazy things. And I didn't want to, share his cabin so then somebody could break into it? Like, people were so crazy on that hunt. It was different. Okay, we got serious again. Let's not get serious. Let's, again, like the cabin thing, if it turns into, oh, you had secret information, I just won't share anything more. And I'll just use that as a lesson learned. You will never hear a story again. I don't have any problem with that.
Hey, share what you want to share, and everybody's going to have their opinion. But we do have some breaking news. Another ride has opened in the Treasure Hunt amusement park as of about 30 minutes ago, and that is because The Hatter's Hat, Lost Tales of Wonderland by David Jacobson, has been released on Amazon Kindle. He was on AGK, he was on Amy Seeks, and the book is there in Kindle. If anybody wants to go buy it, it is called The Hatter's Hat, Lost Tales of Wonderland. That's all we need is another treasure hunt to work on, but it's there if anybody's interested. It is a boots on the ground, I believe. I'm looking at it right now in the old Kindle reader. Looks long, looks like a long story, but we'll see. Everybody likes Alice in Wonderland, right? So I wonder how he's going to do this. Yeah, so it's out. Well, actually, I'm looking
Okay,
on it.
back to Milan. Milan asked, based on your interactions with Forrest, do you believe sometimes it was a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? No, I'm going to equate it to something that I saw. This is going to sound crazy, but my daughter and my fiance are both really into rap. My daughter was watching something, I want to say like 2 or 3 years back, maybe 2. I don't remember when. And this rapper said, most of us rappers marry our high school sweethearts because you never know once you made it big who is just in it for the gold digging, and then they go into the whole gold digging thing, which I think Forrest, when I got into the hunt, some of the people had burned him that he actually thought was a friend, that he never knew who was friends with him and not friends with him, or just in it for the gold. They wanted the gold. I can tell you the last meeting I had with Forrest, he told me that. He said he was never as surprised as the people that turned on him after the treasure was discovered. People he thought were friends. And he realized there was a lot of people that weren't friends. Some people even surprised him. And he said to me, he goes, you surprised me. I never thought. He goes, I always wondered, because there were so many haters and like controversy around him and I talking. He said, I never realized how loyal and how much of a friend you were until after the treasure chest was found. And he thanked me. So I don't think as much, long story short to the answer, I don't think it was a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I think it was I like how Toby puts it, like a forest before he needed to be guarded, and then the guarded forest. I don't think he thought people would get into his personal world to find the treasure chest as much. Anyway, that's my, again, we got serious again. Why are you getting so serious, Mike?
Yeah, Mary Green says she got it too. Center review. Wow, that's awesome. Joshua Pritchett switching to a different ride in the Treasure Hunt amusement park. Joshua Pritchett says that the Six Treasures film, Treasure Hunt, sixtreasuresfilm.com. I put the link in the chat earlier, is going to be on Amazon Prime. They're movies, so they're doing episodes, and there's clues in the movies that lead you somewhere. We got to have you on the show, Joshua. If you want to come on next week, email me so we can set it up. Again, what K-Pro just said, I think, is Mondays is going to be Forrest Fenn related. Thursdays will be the other treasure hunts. So if you want to come on Thursday of next week, Joshua, let's do it. That's huge. Amazon Prime is going to get before a huge audience. So congratulations. That's cool. Yeah, there it is, everybody. I don't think I got anything else. What about you, K-Bro?
I have tons of other stuff, but it all can't be in one night. We're
Right.
going to play catch up for a while. I will say, even tonight, I'm not going to get into a negative space if I get back into Forrest Fenn. I know a lot of you think you have the treasure chest. I know a lot of you think you've solved the hunt. I don't want to get into that space as much as what's happening now. How do we get closure? We're going to have some updates on documentaries and things that are happening, press, that sort of stuff. So, Godelkin, I didn't mean things to get so serious. I put you in timeout, but I hope you come back. It's just not that serious. I just hope everybody is thankful for the community we have. And I want us to all get the peace that we need through this. And I gained a friend. I gained lots of friends, but I gained a friend in Forrest, and I lost him through this. But I gained a lot of. I gained a lot more than I lost. So I'm thankful for this hunt. I'm thankful for all of you, and I hope that we just kind of get in a better place. But again, if I come back, I'm definitely not going to be in the negative space because I just can't. I can't be in that space because it affects me. Mike knows if I get into it with a searcher or in a negative space, I bring it into my personal life. I don't cook as good. I don't get up as early. I get grumpy. I don't do stuff. No, I'm just kidding a little bit, but it does. I do take, it's a lot more personal to me. I don't like people not liking me. And God knows there's a lot that don't in this hunt. I don't understand it as much, but there's something for me to grow there. So let's just try to all look at it that we're all looking for that ultimate goal the same. I do want the answers. I want the solution. And hey, Source, hey, Finder, you guys have been nice. And Source has been a lot nicer than Finder. But let's do a little more. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on, you boys. Come on. And I mean boys as men. Come on.
Well, I got to say.
That's my 2 cents.
Not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom.
And if you guys didn't know, Candy Chasing Indy narrates the Six Treasures film, at least the first episode. So Candy just said my voice is going to be on Amazon Prime. Our very own Chasing Indy narrates at least part of this story that the Six Treasures film is put out. So that's pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm actually going to watch that first episode tonight. I didn't watch the entire thing yet, Joshua. Holidays got in the way.
I'm going to be honoring. So that means that Indy has all the secret hints. That's amazing.
Well, I just told her residuals. How much is she getting for that Amazon Prime? Hashtag residuals. Anyway, good luck, Joshua, with it. And that's awesome. Chasing Indy has a good voice. You guys know how she does her poems. She reads it in that. I don't know how to describe the voice, but you guys know what I'm talking about. If you heard it.
Hocus Pocus was the best. Hello. Oh, hi. And she's like the actress. She's like she's, and I mean this with love. You're the best drama queen in this chase, in a good way. She just put you belong in Hollywood from Forrest. Forrest said it, so it must be so. Yeah, she's awesome. You know, did you guys know she's one of my bridesmaids? I will say, Cynthia, Candy, my daughter. There's some family, there's some friends. You will see some searchers as a part of our. We can't announce it all yet because people are trying to figure out if they can actually travel. But, oh my gosh, it's going to be a little wild, a little crazy. We do think there'll be a camera crew or two. You never know, or there might be no one. There might be no one.
Yeah, World Series of Fenn is going to be a lot of fun. So get out here if you can. All the COVID will be over with by then. Don't worry about it. Okay, everybody. I think that's going to do it. You know, there are so many rides in the treasure hunting amusement park. Yes, we are going to do an open Zoom after this. So if you are not already on the list, this will be an open Zoom, not just a chapter 4 Zoom. Cowlazars@gmail.com. This will be an open Thanksgiving Zoom. We can talk about all the rides in the treasure hunt. The Mad Hatter, I'll probably be looking that over. What is it called? The Hatter's Hat. I keep saying the Mad Hatter, but it's called the Hatter's Hat. Lost Tales of Wonderland, David Jacobson. We've got that one. Niamo Spec is really pissing me off because it's been so long. The Impossible Treasure Hunt on YouTube, The Impossible Treasure Hunt. Nobody solved that cipher. That's pissing me off. There's so many rides. It's just not.
Wait, why don't we have Niamo Spec and The Impossible Treasure Hunt both on Amy's channel? They'll give away all the hints and then it'll be solved. Amy has magic, and the chat room just has to ask repeated questions. She has a few too many. She's laughing. We're all having a good time. That is what this community is about.
Randy says, but I just got here. But the power of YouTube, Randy, you can rewatch it, which is cool. Or you could join our Zoom. Maybe we'll even talk about the Beacon Star. You never know.
No, but that makes him go away because he's this rare unicorn that is this ethical originator that doesn't answer questions. So why don't we talk about all the others if Randy comes in? But he needs to be like Randy. You probably didn't see it. You are the source in our story, and you will be the source all throughout the future treasure hunts. You're Randy P, the 7 foot, I think he's a black man.
Oh, he missed the grand.
Yeah,
missed the
with
grand
a
adventure.
purple trench coat, a green cane, and a top hat. That is you, Randy
And most
P.
importantly, you had a sundial on a gold chain. But look at the video we did earlier, Randy, about the solution to the grand adventure. You'll see what we're talking about. Chasing Indy says her and Nick solved the impossible treasure hunt. You have to email.
I wish
for
you were
that.
no
It's
hit the
not
button.
solved.
I wish you weren't a liar. I would hit the
Yeah,
button.
because it's not solved. So you're gonna have to tell me what you're
Wait,
that one.
Nick,
If we're talking about the same treasure hunt.
Wait a minute. Nick says he doesn't believe in collaboration because the Zooms are evil.
I
And
don't know. I don't know.
Okay, love you, Nick, but I didn't understand some of the positions you took. I don't know. I just everybody's bitter right now. I hope everybody finds their happiness.
Okay, everybody. David Crump says, how do I get a Zoom invite? You have to email me. You email me. That gives me your email address. And then whenever we do a Zoom, I email the invite to you, which we're going to do one tonight in a little while.
Wait,
So,
but he
email
says, I don't want to talk or be seen. You don't have
don't
to
have
do
to.
either. Now, the one thing, if you do have something to say, you can type it in chat. A lot of people type it in chat, and that's okay. And then there's some people, I think it's Mike and maybe 2 other people that have their face. Some people know, though, that when you come into Zoom, it has a picture and it has a name. Just make sure you have that as you want it. Some people have their like telephone number and then they change it. I don't think it's a huge deal, but just, yeah. Yeah, Randy P, you need to see our latest treasure hunt because we did a little shout out to you and Vince Marino and Greg and a few others. We just had fun with some of you that we knew in the community. But you are not clues. You are characters in our lives. So you are characters in our hunts.
Some people I did whittle the Zoom list down because it got to over 200 people. So if you really had not joined that much, I did remove you. So Joshua, email me to make sure I have the right email and I'll put you back on the list. Anybody that wants on the list that's not been getting the invites, just email me. I'll add you to the list. Cowlazars@gmail.com. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We hope everybody else has a 3-day weekend like we do. What a perfect time to work on treasure hunts. Yeah. What do you got to say, K-Pro?
That is all, and good night. And until then, if you have an idea of a particular topic, please email me on the Forrest Fenn stuff. I'm going to take the lead on those. If you have all the other amusement park, that is Mike's deal. And this is going to be our new thing for a little bit until the TV series comes out. Good night.
All right, everybody. We will see you next time. We hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Jump in the Zoom. Let's talk for a little while. They go all night. I don't stay in for very long if I got something going on, but the people that do stay in, it goes all night long. So you're welcome to join. Good night, everybody. Happy